When we hear of people being sexually exploited on the internet, most of the victims are teenage girls and young women. But men can also be victims, and one of the victims of sextortion has come forward. He says he seriously considered suicide after an online scammer secretly recorded him and threatened to post some very compromising videos.
The biggest fear was if this video got out, it would just, honestly, like, as bad as it sounds, like suicide went through my head. I was in absolute shock, like in a state of like legitimate shock. I just, a state of overwhelming fear and anger, and just, I lost my mind. I started, I almost cried. It was just that bad. I was just so angry with myself.
Eric Rankin has been working on this exclusive story and describe for us how this all began.
Well, this young 19-year-old guy said that he was sitting at home in his parents' house one night on his iPad, wanting to meet young women. So he starts Googling around, and up pops a website called BeNaughty.com. And he goes on, he meets a woman. This woman starts to engage him and suggests that maybe they should continue the conversation on Skype, where they could actually have a one-on-one video chat. He does this. This is a big mistake, being lured off of a website. So he goes on Skype. She is getting naked right away and touching herself and encouraging him to do the same. At first he says he's reluctant, but then she says, well, if you're not going to respond, I'm going to go please some other guy. He says that's what got him. So then he starts to do what he does. And at that point, suddenly the video gets sent back to him. He's seeing himself recorded and being played back, and that's when he knows he's in deep trouble. She says, I'm going to post this video online unless you pay me $600.
Do you know these pictures behind us, I guess, are sort of generic pictures of those kinds of sites?
It was, and that was Philippines TV did their own kind of reenactment of how this all happens. And it was almost word for word the kind of scam that this guy got hit with. A young woman shows up on the internet, it's a Skype conversation, she gets naked, he does the same thing, and the next thing you know, you're being blackmailed, or as we now call it, sextortion.
We have just a few seconds, but on the one hand, this guy's in the safety of his own home, he thinks. On the other hand, you know, you can't send the police across town to find the bad guy or bad woman because they could be anywhere.
Exactly. In this case, it appears they were in the Philippines, but they can just as easily be in Eastern Europe, West Africa, or even around the corner. You never know where these people could be.
And as you were saying, really courageous of that young person to come forward to you and tell his story. Eric, thank you very much.
You're welcome.